And that is with all the entries that have run to bump in or out. So Deal is in the show, so isn't Buddy Hall. Chad Green is familiar with this scene at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip because he lived it last year, and he lived it in a very fantastic way as the sun was getting lower in the sky. In the final round, he won his first event.
Yeah, and things have changed since then. Of course, it was Daniel Wilkerson that is now in that Skag machine that Chad Green was able to get to the finish line ahead of. That was Tim Wilkerson. So Chad Green, they just have a different setup. This car, if it was this with the stock market, their stock has fallen. And it can only be because some of the shuffling they have done. They're trying to find that magic.
And so for Matt Hagan, he has a debt of thanks for Chad Green because it was Chad Green winning his couple of early rounds that allowed Matt Hagan to be crowned the Funny Car Champion of the World in 2024 or 2023. That number one will come off Matt Hagan's car, or at least be reduced in size for the 2025 season. A clutch lever broke last run for Chad Green, but how about now? 388.9, 327. That's the run those boys wanted, and a 383.8 at 331 for Hagan. Nice.
Well, we saw one of the all-time classic top fuel sections, and we may see that with Funny Car for Matt Hagan. This is a big move. This is a lot like what they did in Dallas a few races ago. And for Chad Green, we talk about trying to find that magic. They seem to have found the sweet spot once again.
Both teams picked up, but Matt Hagan in red, white, and blue goes low of the session so far. Stay with us. Rapid fire action here in Pomona, California. Chad Green, the Bond Code Mustang, across the, whoa, he just double bulbed Paul Lee. Chad Green's in both bulbs. Lee, the mainline sales Dodge, is going to move his operation ahead. And Paul Lee smokes the tires. Chad Green, who won this race a year ago. It's been a while since he's seen an early win light. That's a good run for them, but a 399, it was hurting. He has a very good record here in the spring, in the winter, and I should say the fall. Chad Green, Bond Code Ford Mustang, Boxo Tools. This car's starting to show some teeth, but man, Ron Capps has really put on a show this weekend. Career best numbers so far in that Napa GR Supra.
I think Capps typically does well at this racetrack, especially that later in the season. I think the question for Chad Green becomes, you advanced to this round, you had some issues in the first round, you burned a valve, you still advanced, the car ran okay. Question is, do you go after? How many adjustments can you make to try to match the performance of this Napa machine?
Chad Green is going to run down ahead of Rowe. No, he's up by the center line. He hit the blocks. He hit the blocks. Chad Green ran over the blocks in the center of the racetrack. He is done. Dean Antonelli's thanking heaven, he's thanking the clouds, and he's thanking a guy not lifting early enough.
Well, I think the question became, did he hit the blocks after the finish line? That's what we're going to look at. If he does it after the finish line, that second block, well, that's a disqualification right there. He dodged the first one. He hits the second one. That is still considered the infraction, and it's an absolute shame because Capps encountered a loss of traction. It was a 007 for Chad Green, and that may have taken some of the focus off. The tendency for drivers is you start looking for your opponent. There is not a misfiring cylinder at this stage. When he gets out of the good rubber, he starts to spin the tires, then the cylinders start to misfire. However, before that, it was simply the driver allowing that car to get too far to the inside, and once it starts to drive, you get one tire in the good stuff, one tire slipping, it's going to continue to drive towards that center line.